Hey everybody, Jeff Harchfield here. Well, I forgot to do one of these. So, normally I do this every 10 episodes. So I'm debating right now whether to do that, whether it be a case of like episodes 1 to 10 of the season 2, or just one big lump, including the most recent Stephen Baum with the sardonic stuff. Given that we've no clue when the next bunch of Steven Universe episodes are at this moment in time, I will give my thoughts on all 15 episodes thus far in Season 2. And yes, I know I'm saying 15 episodes, I'm talking about the proper timeline for Season 1. Some of you have been commenting, this is such and such episode, this is actually such and such an episode, but the timeline for Season 1 got a little screwed up a little with their Stephen Bombs. Kinda hoping this timeline hasn't been screwed up with the recent Stephen Bombs, but whatever. So, the episodes I'll be talking about are, let's see, what's the list again? Full Disclosure, Joyride, Say Uncle, Love Letters, Reformed, Sworn to the Sword, Rising Tides, Crashing Skies, Keeping It Together, We Need to Talk, Chillitude, Cry for Help, Keystone Motel, Onion Friend, Historical Friction, and Friendship. So, this will be my thoughts on those 15 episodes since, as far as I'm aware, that is Season 2 thus far. Okay? Everything else is Season 1. So, Full Disclosure was the episode which we got straight after, which takes place straight after the events in Jailbreak. Thus, the proper start for Season 2. Heck of a way to start off Season 2. And it definitely showed that they were going for more of an impact on how the whole gem stuff affects the relationships of everyone, including the whole homeworld revelations. And that seems to be the theme so far, from what I can tell, of Season 2 so far. It is very much a case of, it is definitely having more of an impact. The homeworld is very much here. It is having much more an impact on the gems, and in turn Steven's own life, because up until now he's pretty much just been like hanging out, occasionally helping out beat up monsters and stuff, but now it's a case of like his past through Rose is coming up to is catching up with him, and in turn he's finding out a lot more about his mum, about Rose, about his, I suppose you could say, his past life, really. Since, well, Rose kind of sacrificed her very being in order to give birth to Stephen. And, well, he's half gem because of that. He's Rose reformed in a way. And we also get to actually see more of development for Stephen, which I enjoy. I enjoy seeing our main protagonists grow and become more than what they were to begin with. Case in point, with the Joyride, we got to see that he is feeling the effects of all this. He is very much feeling the weight of everything. And that it sort of alleviates itself by the end of that episode, but you can see throughout the rest of the season that it is still there somewhat. He is still feeling the weight of all this a little. And it is affecting him. He is taking it into consideration. Skipping over Say Uncle, because that's not canon. A good example for that still being part of his psyche, still being affecting him, the whole gems and the whole past life, whole Rose, all the whole homeworld stuff, is in Sworn to the Sword, really, when Connie is learning how to sword fight from Pearl. And it's very much a case of like, Stephen is doing everything possible now at that point. Towards the end of that episode, it's a case of like, yeah, I'm not going to let you do my fighting for me. We're going to fight. He's not so much saying, I'm going to let Connie do all my fighting for me. We're going to fight together. I'm not going to do the fighting for her. She's not going to do the fighting for me. We're going to fight together. Which actually is very nice. Is very nice, actually. That was a very good difference, actually, from the usual protagonist viewpoint, because normally when it comes to our chosen one heroes and their well, love interest, for lack of a better terminology for what's going on between Stephen and Connie, the male hero usually tends to, well, kind of like try and do all the work for them. But no, Stephen and Connie are very much in a proper partnership. Case in point, when they're fighting, double teaming on Pearl, Connie was the offense while Stephen was the defense. Which, given their past together so far, what we've seen of their interactions with one another, I can definitely see being the actual case. It's going to be interesting seeing how that works with Stevonnie. Speaking of, via that, we then, with the We Need to, I think it was We Need to Talk. I can't remember what it was. Yeah, it was We Need to Talk. Greg finally saw, I'm saying this all out of order here. I'm doing a train of thought. With what We Need to Talk, Greg finally gets to meet Stevonnie. And as a guy's like, initially he's like, and he's very weirded out to begin with, but yeah, I can kind of see him being chill with it later on if they keep accidentally. So the fact that they accidentally fuse into Stevonnie is adorable, really. I'm kind of wondering if Stevonnie will be able to summon up the shield. I know she'll probably be able to summon up the shield herself. Yes, I'm saying herself for the moment because of the whole gem girl thing. So anyway. Where was I? Oh yeah. So I've lost my train of thought now. It's derailed. So I suppose we are talk about some the stuff outside of the Stevonnie and Rose bits in terms of other fusions like Garnet, for example. Garnet definitely got a little bit more development in terms of her fusion. More of the case of like the actual relationship of the fusion. Case in point being in Love Letters, which I felt was a very nice episode when it comes to him trying to like show how to let people down easy or hard or, well, bluntly, honestly, however the hell Garnet did it. When it came to Jamie the postman declaring his love for Garnet. Yeah, I know some people are very interested in threesomes, but I don't think that would be a threesome he'd be into. And yes, despite what people were saying, Garnet, yes, I know Garnet's an individual being, but at the same time, she is also Ruby and Sapphire. Garnet is the physical personification, as far as I understand fusions being. Fusions, as far as I'm understanding, are the physical personification and identification of two gems melding together, in Ruby and Sapphire's case, their relationship and stuff. Heck, we even have it being, I suppose, confirmed that fusions are a relationship via the episodes Chillatide and most recently Friendship. In Chillatide, Garnet went on to explain how it was either Garnet or Pearl, about how Lapis Lazuli's and Jasper's fusion was founded on a relationship of mistrust and anger, and how that was eventually going to go boom. Which, I really hope it does it. I like Lapis. I think everyone does it at this point. And then that was further extrapolated in Friendship recently, because, well, Pearl and Garnet were trapped in a closing wall, and it's a case of like of course, when you're in a death situation like that, you tend to blurt out stuff, don't you? And Pearl, with the whole Sardonyx fusion, wanted to feel what that relationship was like. She wanted to be part of the relationship that Ruby and Sapphire was, in order to make her feel stronger, etc. Which, yeah, I can sort of see where she's coming from for that one. It's a case of like, Pearl previously had a relationship with Rose, Not entirely sure if it was the same kind of... Although, judging by rainbow quartz, it was near enough. It was near enough on the same level as garnets. I mean, wow. Which now kind of makes me wonder, since Steven has Rose's gem, I know this is a bit of a derailment of train of thought here, but it's an interesting question. Can Steven reform rainbow quartz with Pearl if he was to fuse with her? Well, assuming he can fuse with Pearl. That would be interesting to see, actually. Because, well, Sardonyx, when she got formed up by him, in fact, when all the fusions so far, actually, like Sugilite, Sardonyx, is that, I think they're the only ones who actually have said anything along these lines, that it's been a while since they've been them. So, I kind of wonder, if Steven was able to fuse with Pearl, and they were somehow able to make rainbow quartz, as in the same rainbow quartz as we saw in We Need to Talk, what would result from that? I mean, it's something to wonder about, isn't it? Especially with all the information we get, for all the answers we are getting with these last 15 episodes, in particular the last couple of Steven bombs, with all the answers we've been getting, it definitely raises more questions and more theories. Case in point, I saw something interesting for Onion, actually, after Onion's Friend episode. After the Onion Friend episode. Previously until now, Onion has been regarded as the demon child, etc. Up until this episode, quite a lot of people are still saying, yeah, he's a demon child, yeah, he's freaky, he's weird. But I saw something that made me wonder, actually. I'll try to find the link. It was on my blog, it was in one of my reblogs a while back on Tumblr. I'll try to find it again. Yeah, I know, Tumblr. But this one actually has some proper thought and research and sources in it. And people who've gone through this stuff. And it suggests that Onion is actually, well, autistic. And they then go through all the details of what they've gone through with their friends' autistic kids and other stuff. And it's a case of like, it sheds a new light on this, because if this is the case, the only other autistic example of any character portrayed with a form of autism or something related to autism that I can think of right now at the top of my head is Drax from Guardians of the Galaxy. Because of the whole... Yeah, I know people going, that guy? He's not autistic. Well, it's a case his whole species doesn't get metaphors, for example. Everything is taken literally for him. And in some cases, I'm not saying this is the case for all people with autism, but in some cases, that is the case for them. They don't understand things in the same way as other people do. They don't get I'm probably offending like 500,000 people saying this. It's better explained on the thing I read. I'm paraphrasing this from memory, from very vague memory here. But back to the original point, if this is actually the case with Onion, and he is meant to be some kind of representation of an autistic child, then wow. Kudos, brilliant. I honestly can't think right now of any other show that has done this in any regard. Which just goes to show that the writers behind this want to include all people in this type of show. I mean, that's what cartoons are supposed to do, aren't they? Oh God, we've gone from thoughts video to semi-review now for the last 15 episodes or so. Hell, this show in general. How did that happen? I don't know. This is what happens when I ramble. This is what happens when I ramble for too long. But, yeah. if the show is going along that kind of route, I mean, so far we've got Ruby and Sapphire being in a very clearly lesbian relationship here. That is awesome. The fact they managed to get that past the censors is brilliant. Because, yeah, this, when it comes to any kind of like relationship like that, that tends to get censored quite a bit, doesn't it? It's like, oh no, you can't possibly show this on children's television, it'll corrupt their minds and youth. Yeah, screw you. I mean, come on. Ugh. But, yeah. So, with the whole gems being girls being viewed and pronounced as being feminine in terms of that. And that's awesome, by the way. It's a case of like, if you consider all the gems are female, I mean, take a look at them. They are all shapes and sizes, which is brilliant. I mean, I've got a friend, Hannah Kay, who is adoring this show simply because usually when it comes to like any form of big women in media, they are very much portrayed as the flumpy dumpy roll around insulting comic relief, really, in some cases. You get the odd exceptions like Miss Piggy. I mean, come on, no one would ever accuse her of being comic relief. You know what I mean. As a case like, she's a character you do not want to get on the bad side of. Otherwise she'll karate chop you into next week. Sometimes literally. And recently now with the Steven Universe characters, which is awesome. The fact that all these characters are actually well-rounded, physically and character speaking. Anyway, back to my thoughts on the last 15 episodes. Yeah, it's done a lot of world building, it's done a lot of history building, and it's done a lot of character building for everyone, including the gems. I mean, the gems are millions of years old, thousands of years old, but even now they are still learning. And that is brilliant, especially when it comes to their interactions with Steven. I mean, they are growing closer to him. They are... Previously, it was very much a case of like, yeah, they were trying to do what they could to like keep him out of harm's way and entertain him. I'd indulge him every now and again. But now it's a case of like, now they're starting to take him seriously as a gem as well as a person. Although, even they're not entirely certain what they're doing though, because, well, as Garnet said, there's been no one and nothing like him before. And, in terms of the characters themselves, I'd have to say all of them have had a chance to shine and evolve in these last 15 episodes. Hell, in particular, the last two Steven bombs have really developed the characters since we last saw them. I mean, hell, we even managed to get ourselves a Ruby Sapphire episode with Keystone Motel, and we actually got to see their personalities outside of what we saw in Jailbreak. And that is awesome. It's a case of like, Garnet is a fusion of their personalities, of their personas, of their characters. She is, as she said in their song, a conversation between the two of them. So it's nice to see where these little bits and bobs are coming from her. And yeah. And it does make me rethink my fusion thoughts, my thoughts on the fusion thing, because now we know that, well, Sapphire's a Cyclops. And Garnet has 3 eyes, so it's very much a case of like, do the fusions take the amount of gem eyes? I'm assuming it's only the gem's eyes that are counted for the fusion, because, well, otherwise Stevonnie would be having 4 eyes, wouldn't she? So, yeah. But I don't know. But yeah, that's my thoughts at the moment, and also a semi-review of the last 15 episodes. Can't think of anything else right now to say. I'm loving how they've managed to grow Peridot's character as well, because previously when we first met her, Peridot was, well, very robotic, very droid-like. Now it's a case of like she's giggling and cackling and chortling and pulling faces and generally being surprised by what she can actually do herself, which is very interesting to watch. We are literally seeing a character grow as well here. We are seeing a character grow and explore herself along with her, in a sense, with Peridot. Because, well, in Friendship, she was actually kind of surprised by the fact that her cannon did that much damage. And the fact that her force bubble against Pearl actually worked. And as a case like in which one was it? Keeping It Together, I think, was the Creepypasta Fusion episode. It's very much a case like her ultimately propelling away. It seemed a little shaky at the start, but then it did manage to take off. So that's interesting. With the last two Steven Bombs, we have literally seen Peridot develop into her own character as well, which is interesting. The relationship between all of them has definitely grown, and I think it has actually strengthened between them, with how Steven's sort of acting like a glue/counselor for all of them. Because, well, how much of these issues have they not worked out between one another? Like in Reformed, when Amethyst was trying to be whatever Garnet wanted her to be, and it was a case of like they then eventually worked that one out. But and then there was with Sardonyx, the whole Pearl confessing stuff with Garnet, and it's like, so yeah. So very much looking forward to whenever the next Steven Bomb is, or the next episode of Steven Universe. So looking forward to those. Schedule at the moment, Star Wars Rebels is in with update now as well. Star Wars Rebels reactions are in the works. Just trying to get them to something play along at the moment. Got one episode up, got some an extra wee thing as well set up, but not going to upload them on here just yet. Need to make sure they can upload on Scottish Jedi's channel first, because that's where they are going to go first. Because, well, we'll explain in that video. I've got Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood dubbed, ready for me to react to. Then I'll get those up and running for you guys. And yes, I'm aware people wanting Star versus the Forces of Evil. I'm working on getting a decent version of all the episodes thus far, because as I said before, iTunes UK is sucky, because we have maybe half of the ones that have been released in the US. Yeah. So it's a case of trying to find a decent torrent of those. It's an upset. If you're wondering why the episodes are taking so long, this is why. Just trying to find decent torrents, decent downloads. What else do I need to talk about? I didn't mean to go into an update as well, but yeah, they are in the works. And I'm afraid I've managed to add some extra stuff to my to-do list as well. Curse the internet! But yes, that'll be a nice wee surprise for you guys. Jaffa Archfiend, out.